¿Qué tal amigos? Welcome to another edition of LatiNation Football Club, and I'm very excited because today we have a great show. We have MLS match day number 1, a lot of surprises, a lot of exciting moments. Also, Liga MX, we had a lot of games to go over. There was a lot of activity, midweek games, last weekend, terrible results for Pumas all around. I don't know what to do with this team. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about the Conca Champions, the Champions Cup from CONCACAF, and some other international football picks for the upcoming round of 16 for the Champions League as well. But I need someone to help me with all of this, and that's why I'm here today with the one and only Chiva Mayor, Julio Ramos. How are you, my friend?
Hey, pretty good, man. Saludos a la LatiNation, toda la banda. Very excited, man. Like you said, very surprises of results. I think that it was a crazy football week, but we're here to bring everything that you need to know.
That is right, my friend. And let's start with MLS because in MLS we had such a loaded weekend. The biggest surprise, which I think that we were all calling for it, was both San Jose. Also, we have a newcomer that is serious in San Diego, giving a statement, knocking out the current champion Galaxy. Chiba, how much did you enjoy the game of San Diego versus Galaxy?
Let me tell you, man. I went from seeing a banner that Carson is not LA to them with Chucky Lozano with the first assist ever in the history of San Diego. Man, San Diego came to Carson and they proved that they're a serious team. I mean, they beat Galaxy. Now let's be fair. Galaxy with a lot of absences, a lot of work to do, but at the end of the day, they were undefeated the whole last season, and right now, and today on the first game home, they lost, and it was crazy to see. It was a little satisfying.
That is right, Chiva. The performance of Anders Dreyers, this newcomer wearing the number 10 proudly for San Diego, showing that he has the mentality to become the leader to this great team. And Chucky Lozano, obviously, like you said, giving a great performance, showing a glimpse of what we can see. I think that he's going to be a much more dominant player of what we saw. We immediately saw his impact. He was the originator of the first goal. Galaxy, like you said, looks soft. They still trying to figure out their team. It's the first game of the season. We have to cut everyone slack and allow ourselves to be surprised. Bruce Arena confirming what we have been talking about. One of the top teams in the West for sure. Everybody's gonna be on notice around the league for this. LAFC, Chiva. We got the points. We seem to have some moments of brilliance. Evo Bees in one game was able to achieve more than Giroud in one full season. For myself as a fan, but also as a journalist, more questions than answers for the first game of the Black and Gold.
100%. I think I was surprised by the way Minnesota came in and dominated the almost a full game, man. They dominated the game. We scored the first goal of the 30th season. It was a beautiful goal, but like you said, man, a lot of questions. Now you just said it earlier that we gotta give them some time, right? It's first game of the season. They're just coming for preseason. It was a tough game, but man, at the end of the day, they won the game. They're on a eight game streak. I think they're they broke the record of the team with the most straight wins on opening match, and that's what matters. At the end of the day, it's 3 points. A lot of questions, but then we won, and that counts.
That is always very important to start with the right foot. Now, let's talk about a team that has the highest of expectations this season, Miami. They had a shaky start. Messi was left furious, fuming against the referees. He earned himself a fine from the MLS for touching the referee at the end of the game, grabbing the neck. Um,
I was gonna say more than touching, Marcelino. It was more than touching, and I think that
intimidation.
yes,
That's what it was.
and not just touching, but also the verbal abuse. At the end of
Yeah.
the day, MLS has a great opportunity to show the world that they're not a joke, man. Because if you let Messi just because he's Messi disrespect the referee, have the verbal abuse, you know, even choking. I think one of the or holding him from behind one of the assistant coaches of New York City. I mean, they it has to be more than just a fine. We know it's Messi. We know they're protecting him, but don't make it that obvious.
Yeah, it is. It was hard to watch to see that the level of frustration and entitlement on match day one, it seemed completely out of place, especially because it was a fair result, right? Like it was not that they were stolen from the game. It was a tough draw, but yes, nonetheless, you have to give credit where credit is due. Columbus, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, confirming as well that they are the top teams. Atlanta is going to be very, very dangerous. What do you think, Chiva, about the new Atlanta super team?
I mean, I said it in the previous weeks that they were gonna be one of the top four in the East. I mean, honestly, they look really good. Again, jornada uno, right? We're gonna take it easy. But from what we've seen so far, I think, man, them and San Jose are gonna give a lot of surprises.
Chiva, uh, what is your impression of the level of the league at large after the first set of games?
I mean, we can all see it. It's a serious league. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm very dramatic when I talk about what happened with Messi because we're turning into a very serious league, and we've seen it with the results, the quality of football that we see on the pitch. I mean, everything is growing, and I'm very excited about it. I think it's a really good first match for MLS, and obviously it's going to be improving. Just the fact that you see, even though is a first match, the passion and the commitment of the players of the big names that come to this league, honestly, like that gives me a lot of pride, and it looks like a bright future for this league.
And now next week we are going to have some great games. Let's go down the list really quickly. Charlotte against Atlanta United. What do you feel that is going to happen with that game?
I mean, look, man. Even though Charlotte is going to play home, Atlanta's a strong team. I'm thinking a draw, man. I think a 2-2, a very exciting game.
Another game that really stands out to me is Real Salt Lake against Seattle Sounders. Two teams that are going to be battling momentum towards the top of the table. What is your prediction?
Man, Seattle Sounders look pretty good. The Salt Lake, unfortunately, they have lost some players, and they have lost the momentum that they have built in the past two seasons. I think Seattle Sounders is going to surprise Salt Lake City, Salt Lake, and they're going to come out with the victory.
This game would have been a complete kingdom of boredom last season, but this year I think it's going to be a great game. Kansas City against San Jose. What are you expecting?
Oh man, it's a tough one because Kansas City is not doing that bad, man. They are gonna make their home respect, and they're gonna probably tie 3-3.
Another game that I know that you have a lot of interest in is LAFC versus New York City Football Club. Do you think the black and gold is going to go get the 3 points?
It's gonna be tough, man. We saw New York City versus Miami. They went at Miami's house, and they were minutes away from coming out with a victory. So I think it's gonna be a very tough match. I don't think we're gonna win, to be honest with you. I think it's gonna be a draw.
And then on Sunday, Chiva, we're going to have two great games. First, LA Galaxy against Vancouver. LA Galaxy has a lot to prove on that game, that they are the champions and they need to be respected. But Vancouver proven to be one of the most dangerous sides up top. What do you think is going to happen?
Look, man, I think that Galaxy is gonna keep struggling. I mean, they're missing key players, and it's a long season, right? One thing that I always admire from Galaxy is that they some reason handle the first part of the season struggling a little bit, but then when it comes to real time after the summer, they come in with everything. I think they're gonna struggle. I think they're gonna lose against Vancouver.
Again, Miami on prime time, again with all the spotlights and all the help against Houston Dynamo. I am rooting for Houston. I am rooting for Eric Dueñas, our former LAFC Academy homegrown. Chiva, what is your prediction for this game?
I don't think Miami needs help from nobody because they have a very strong team. But unfortunately, we can see it. I mean, again prime time. I think Miami's gonna win the match. I think Miami's gonna have their first win of the season. And I really hope that Duenas score at least one goal, against Miami.
I hope that's the case because he's a great player with a bright future. We say hello to Eric Dueñas from here, LatiNation Football Club. And with that, we close the first segment, our MLS analysis. Match day is upon us, and we are very, very excited about it. But we have to go on a break here in LatiNation Football Club. We'll be right back, and we're going to talk about Liga MX y un poquito de Champions League. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks versus the top three teams in the league. Oklahoma City, Boston, Cleveland, 0-7. And you take out the 110-104 loss to Cleveland at home in October, and they lost by double digits every game. The Knicks will make the playoffs. Number one, do they fix their defensive problems? And two, are they actually healthy?
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
You have Duke the 1, Houston the 2. They're the two best defensive teams in the country. I want to see them play for the right to go to the Final Four because I think that would be a kick-ass game.
Duke is really great on both ends of the floor. You know, they can score and they can defend, and that's why they win by big numbers all the time, because they're really good on both ends of the floor. I don't trust Houston's offense.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid. The Eagles got it done. If you back them, you're celebrating. Football season may be over, but the action never stops.
Are you ready for some baseball?
At SportsGrid, we're always in the game. We bring you 24/7 betting insights, expert picks, and real-time analysis. Next big play is already in motion. Are you ready? It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
¿Qué tal, amigos? Estamos de vuelta aquí en LatiNation Football Club, and we have everything you want to know about Liga MX, and no one else is better to break it all down than Chiva Mayor, the expert in Liga MX. Chiva, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, muy bien. I'm happy and sad at the same time. I will explain later. But yeah, very excited about Liga MX. I love Liga MX and a lot of great results, and not too great results.
Let's start with the good news. Chivas started the week with a victory. Talk to me. What is happening con los rojiblancos? Ando de Chiva encubierto, pero traigo la del Atlético de Madrid. No vayan a creer, Puma for life, ¿eh? Haciendo acá el disclaimer.
There's a saying in Espanol, right? Una de cal por una de arena. With Chivas is like una de cal por 44,000 de arena. It was a very exciting match versus Pachuca. Chivas struggled a little bit the first 15, 18 minutes. They went down. They were losing 1-0. Alan Pulido, again, doing it for Chivas, scoring a good goal, keeping the eye on the ball. And the ball came from a Pachuca player that eliminated the offside. He scored the goal, and then Romo gave the victory to Chivas. 2-1 versus Pachuca. Pachuca is a great team. It was a very good victory for Guadalajara, and I was very happy that weekend.
I think that you were the only one of the two that was happy that weekend, because my Pumas were beaten badly at home by America. The worst of defeats that you can experience as a fan is probably 0-2 defeat in your own home, en tu casa, en Ciudad Universitaria. Por Dios, ¿qué está pasando con Pumas? Es increíble. That was not enough. Midweek, next match day, boom, otra vez. They lose 4-2 with Xolos. Xolos did a great game. America did a great game. They are teams that are taking their project seriously, and Pumas seems to be giving 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, and then 2 more, and then 3 more, and maybe 3. I don't seem to see the future for this team. Chiva, next week? Not next week. In a few hours.
In a few hours, yeah.
Chivas is going to be facing Pumas. One of the two is going to be happy. One of the two is going to feel like their team is going to get better. Who do you think is going to get the 3 points this weekend?
Look, man, I hope we don't end up with a 0-0 draw, and then both of us can be like, oh, come on, give us some love. Let me tell you something with Pumas and America just very fast. I think losing to America is kind of on the list, right? Because I mean, el tricampeón, right? But the forms, the ways of losing, and I think that's why a lot of the Pumistas are very upset. Anyway, going to the Chivas Pumas is gonna be a very interesting match because they both come from losing. You know, Chivas lost against San Luis, el último lugar de la tabla, the worst defense, the worst offense, 3-1, insane, crazy. I couldn't believe it. But now they gotta shake it up and go against Pumas.
Yep.
And I honestly think, Marcelino, that Chivas is gonna win.
Chivas is looking a little bit better as a team, but I don't think that you can easily forget that Pumas is a team that at any moment can grow against Chivas. But the balance is out there for our teams when they play each other. We have each very, very decisive victories when sometimes we just have to experience the bitter flavor of defeat. But I hope this weekend, maybe for next week, will be draw with 4-4 or like 3-3 with a very exciting game that both of us advance with un puntito ahí nada más sin hacernos daño. But other games that I want to touch upon, Chiva, Tigres. Tigres losing to Juárez was not in my quiniela, and also Mazatlán ganándole a Monterrey. El defensa nuevo, el señor español diciendo, I don't want to play this game. It's in my contract to choose when Sergio Ramos plays, and Sergio Ramos didn't play, and Monterrey lost. What do you make out of this?
Look, man, first let's go with Tigres. Unbelievable. Tigres playing at home. At home. I mean, if anybody put money on Juárez, man, props to them, because nobody will think that Juárez was going to beat Tigres. By the way, great game by Murillo, ex-LAFC player. He did an amazing job on the defense. I mean, honestly, man, I'm surprised with Juárez. They have an amazing team. A lot of people think that just because they're Juárez and it's not a big name, that their team is not good. The proceedings that they have, bro, it was a very exciting match. I feel bad for the Tigres fans, not really.
Yeah,
because they were at home. But man, it was crazy to see. It was a crazy midweek fecha, right? Chivas losing against San Luis. Monterrey and Mazatlán. Monterrey, you know how many millions they have spent with players? It's unbelievable, man. I don't know what's going on with Monterrey. At least Tigres, they make finals, they win championships. But Monterrey, what is going on? And then bringing a player like Sergio Ramos and putting on his contract that he can play whenever he wants, I will be upset. I will boo him in the next game if I was with Monterrey.
You can see the opposite path of it, right? You can see León unstoppable with a James that is fully committed with the team, 100% focused. You see him play, and he is taking this opportunity to get himself in the best playing shape for the World Cup. Not only the Mundial de Clubes, he's looking into the future to 2026, and you can tell exciting games next weekend, exciting games in a few hours. Club America versus Toluca. I think this is going to be a high voltage game. What is your prediction?
Toluca, they won 5-0, okay? They are playing really good. They have a really good squad, and I think that finally we're gonna see a team that is gonna beat America and all the aspects.
Another interesting game that I think that is gonna create some chaos in the quinielas: Mazatlán contra Cruz Azul. I think Mazatlán is gonna get the 3 points. What is your take?
Look, Cruz Azul they've been getting the points, but they've been struggling a lot. This game versus Mazatlán is como matar o morir for them. Like, Either they prove that they're a great team and that they're gonna, be a real contender, or they're gonna go downhill by losing to Mazatlán. I honestly think that Mazatlán is gonna surprise everybody.
Vámonos al otro lado de la tabla. A los equipos that are fighting at the bottom to stay relevant and to get some momentum to climb up. Atlas contra San Luis. San Luis comes from a great victory against Chivas. Atlas seems not to be able to string two victories together. And that's all we have for Liga MX report. And now it's time to go on a break. But when we come back, we're going to talk about Champions League. The round of 16 is upon us, and we have all the analysis and all the odds right here in LatiNation Football Club.
Brady Tkachuk saying that if his brother did miss that overtime period against Canada, like we saw him do, it must be serious out there. And of course, Brady Tkachuk, not a doctor, but you've got to wonder the status of Matthew Tkachuk and what we're going to find out.
Game time for all of these teams and all these players that were, teammates. Now they're facing off against each other. Now they're back to being teammates, whatever it might be. Like, it's time to get things rolling back in the right direction.
HL today, only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
You have Duke the 1, Houston the 2. They're the two best defensive teams in the country. I want to see them play for the right to go to the Final Four because I think that would be a kick-ass game.
Duke is really great on both ends of the floor. They can score and they can defend, and that's why they win by big numbers all the time, because they're really good on both ends of the floor. I don't trust Houston's offense.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
¿Qué tal, amigos? Welcome back. This is LatiNation Football Club, and we are so excited because finally we get to talk about the best tournament in the world, Champions League, and the round of 16 is upon us. It is the moment of the truth where the teams show the true dominance.
First of all, let me tell you something. In this segment, I do not like your jersey. Let me say that. Let me start with that. We all know that the more Champions League advances, the better quality of football that we see. And honestly, it's going to be stay tuned because there's going to be great.
Indeed. We're going to talk about Real Madrid and Atlético de Madrid towards the end of the segment, just to, hacer la de emoción. Empecemos primero, Benfica versus Barcelona. This on paper seems like a straightforward series that Barcelona should win. Do you expect any surprises in that series?
Benfica has done an amazing tournament. Do I think that they're going to eliminate Barcelona? Mi cabeza me dice, of course not. I think they're going to advance. Even though they're going to struggle, Barcelona is going to advance to the next round.
Feyenoord versus Inter de Milan. We were very close to have a Clásico Italiano with Santi Jiménez advancing on a fairy tale story, but that wasn't the case. Feyenoord said, no, señor. What's happening with Feyenoord?
Like you said, they have a new coach, a new style of play, and that's why I think Inter de Milan is going to struggle to figure them out. A big opportunity of advancing, 55% of them advancing to the next round. It's gonna be very interesting to see how they're gonna play against Inter Milan. I do believe, and I think that Feyenoord is gonna advance. They're gonna surprise everybody.
Another game that it's unfortunate that comes this early in the competition is a German classic, Leverkusen against Bayern Munich. Do you expect that Bayern Munich will drop the ball? Because it is their ball to drop against Leverkusen.
I don't think they're gonna drop the ball. I think that Bayern Munich are gonna advance to the next round. Again, it's not gonna be easy, but they know each other, right? These are teams that know each other, and somebody that has dominated the German league has been Bayern Munich, and I think that's what's gonna help them to advance easier than if they were play another team.
Arsenal has been struggling in the domestic league. They had an early exit in the domestic cup, and now they have an opportunity to redeem themselves against PSV. Do you think that Arsenal has the playing style that will win this match?
For this match, I think PSV are gonna show that they're a big team too. Because everybody sometimes they think that just because they're from Netherlands, they're not at that level. And PSV is one of them. I think they are gonna advance.
Dortmund versus Lille. Dortmund, it's a machine. They play the highest level but Lille has shown to be an impressive, fantastic team. Do you think the French team will surprise us all and advance to the round of 8?
I would love to say yes because I love the underdogs, but man, when they go to Dortmund and they face a yellow wall, that's going to be it.
Y el pilón antes del Real Madrid. Club Brugge, the surprise of the tournament versus Aston Villa, a team that has been increasingly getting better and better and better in the domestic league, but also in Champions League after many years of irrelevance. Do you feel the Belgium team will continue this epic run and advance?
Sorry, Premier League, but yeah, I think that another Premier League is going to be eliminated. I think that the Belgium team is gonna show that they're reality, that they can advance even farther in the Champions League.
PSG and Liverpool. I think this is the game that most people will be watching because the implications of a possible upset of Liverpool exiting at this stage will be disastrous for the campaign of the British team, and like you said, might leave every British team out of the competition. Do you think this explosive new version of PSG will have what it takes to defeat Mo Salah and Liverpool?
No. I mean, it's going to be an interesting match. I think PSG has done it very good. Dembele, scoring all those goals. But at the end of the day, they're playing Liverpool. Liverpool is a great team. They have amazing players. Y Liverpool van a mostrar la casta por la Premier League.
I hope that is the case because Liverpool has been dominant all season, and at least they can win the Domestic Cup and Champions League, which is the highest achievement for club soccer. And finally, Chiva, we need to talk about el equipo del Cholo, el Atlético de Madrid, that is going to be facing off the Super Clásico Capitalino de Madrid, el Real Madrid. Do you think we're going to see a fiery match fought in the midfield with a lot of cards, or are we going to see fast-moving breakaway football from these two Spanish powerhouses?
Look, it's a clásico. I just said it previously with Chivas America. Anything can happen, right? But I think Real Madrid and the Champions League is a different team. It's a monster. I call this game going to overtime because it's going to be very, very close, and I think Madrid is going to advance.
Chiva, thank you so much for your insight. We are very excited just like you. And this week is going to be full of great games. Champions League, Conca Champions, domestic leagues, MLS, all here. We're going to have the analysis in LatiNation Football Club next week. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next time.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
We know the Knicks are talented. They're 37-20. It's not a bad season by any stretch. They're just not being the upper echelon team.
This is the Knicks team right now. They're a very good team. And I'm a Knicks fan. You can't look at there and say, this team can win a championship. They're not good enough. They're not good enough defensively. Are we the New York Knicks or are we the New York Fugazis? Forget about it.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Is that kind of helpful when it comes to preparing for a major? Is that you're just like 1 foot in front of you at this point?
Ideally come to a place here at Bay Hill where I've had good success in the past. I've only played it the last 21, 2, 3, and 4. But I've played it well, and I really like that we're heading there with where I'm at right now. I think it's going to tell me a lot.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.